Welcome everyone. We are back again here, yet another week, this time more punctual than before. But yeah, let's hope we can continue the streak that's going on. We are yet again uh, with a new project for 2026. Anup is here with me. This year we are doing something different. Is that rather than reading what other people's write, we are going to attempt to write by ourselves. And it has been a bit of a mixed bag so far. We have already done 7 weeks of these, and it has been a fun experience. A bit disappointing, a bit exciting. Yeah, it's a bit of bunch of everything, right? So Anup, welcome
Mhm.
here. How do you feel right now?
Hello, Shiraz. Hello, everyone. I feel great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing quite well as well. So last week we had you had left us in a cliffhanger. How is it going? Uh, what is up with the thresh?
Okay, let's go then, shall we? So last week the boys they were in the jungle, right? And then they climbed the hill, the red forest, right? And suddenly, so they climbed the hill. They went to the other side of the hill, and then they saw like weird statues or statue-like things, right? Like just standing
Hmm.
there still. Some were
Hmm.
lying down, and then suddenly, a man came to them, and then like followed by some other men, and then they climbed a tree, right? And then um, that person was maybe killed, right? Like and then like they dragged the body up, and then the boys they were traumatized, right? And then they left the scene. They got up on their bike and they went home, right? That was
Yeah.
what happened last week, in the last chapter. So now I'm also like starting to write down chapters, right? So now we are in chapter 4.
Okay.
Um, and let me continue from here.
Hmm.
So, okay, the inmates were outside on the ground again. Unlike other prisons, the trash was a big and a green place. It had dense trees, a big ground, and even a big pond. There were some birds such as Eurasian blackbird and Eurasian robin. M saw the other inmates talking and joined them. You guys got something? Something happened last night, said the big guy. His name was G.A. He was brown, tall, and had brown eyes. M guessed that he maybe came from around South Asia due to his accent. I was taking my evening stroll as usual when I walked past the red room, said G.A. Then I heard a person screaming. What happened? Asked M. It seems he was being burned alive, said G.A. How would you know that? Asked M. I know how burnt smells. I know how burnt skin smells like, replied that person seriously. I took cover and heard a loud bang. Then I saw AC. It seems he actually succeeded to take one out. One of the guards? Asked M. Yes, one of the guards themselves. He took the keys and started running. Did you go after him? Asked M. Are you nuts? Didn't you hear what I said? He fucking killed a guard. I even heard the guards having conversation afterwards. It seems they were really pressured to notice that some other inmates might be listening. This is serious. This will definitely have some repercussion, said M. You fucking bet it will. I heard the guard saying the trash is starting to get rotten again. We have to cleanse it. What does that even mean? Said M. I'm not waiting to find out what it means. We need to get out. But more importantly, did you see what lies behind the red room? Asked M curiously. Yes, said GA. They were too invested and didn't notice the three guards that were just in the other room and got and heard everything what they said. Just then, one uniformed guard came, pointed his finger to GA. Hey, wait a minute. It was a joke, said GA. I saw nothing. I was kidding around, followed afterwards. Two other guards came and shot all of the four inmates with a dart gun and then lost his consciousness. He woke up in his cell and trying to figure out what happened. Yusi was there. Finally awake, huh? Asked Yusi. What happened? Asked M. They got you, and now you are here, said Yusi. M felt something painful on his neck. What is this? Asked M. You got marked. Whenever they are confused whether to get rid of one or not, they mark them. You need to be careful now. I haven't seen marked people for a long time hanging around. Whatever GA told you, don't tell me that, or they will come after you. They are now surveilling you more than ever, said UC. Why are they not coming for you? Asked M. I'm going through that door soon enough, anyways. And unlike you guys, I have been here for a long time, said UC. So this is it, Shiraz. This is my
Okay,
friend.
yeah, fancy, fancy. Bit of intrigue going on there. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
quite fascinating. Uh, yeah, that was quite interesting. I was too into the story to. I had to reorient myself what we were speaking about, but they're quite fun. Yeah, your story is getting quite intense, and I wonder what happened with GA now. It's a mystery, no?
Oh, it is, it is. Soon enough, maybe it might be revealed, but who knows, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, please let's hope that the writers don't forget about it. Yeah, often happens
uh,
that some plot lines get lost, so I hope the writer of this story does not forget about it.
no, no, I
Uh,
will tell the right.
okay, so my turn. Let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, previously in Departure, we were basically investigating the life of our character before he came, his motivations, his so he was basically in a new place, and yeah, once the rush of adrenaline came down, he was just missing his home, kind of feeling nostalgic. The high was off, and then he was kind of yeah,
Mm,
feeling the strange feelings, and
yeah.
then he again uh, went to fly again, right?
Mm,
Uh, so yeah, he had this bird he was flying with at the start of the
mm,
story, and then we reached to the start point now with all those yeah background information. So this is the present, I would say.
mm,
Okay, so yeah, in this new phase, he's flying with this bird, and then he's looking at the world, but he can't really
mm,
look up in the sky because there are three stars in this planet. So he was
yeah.
just looking down and trying to make sense of it.
Yeah.
So I'll continue from here. As
Okay.
we flew along some more, I could see the world and its unique topography. The land was made almost entirely of plateaus, and ravines and lakes in between them. There were some lakes that I could make atop of these highlands, making for an amazing distribution. Some of these plateaus were covered with plants, while others were not. From my height, I could not make out smaller beings flying. I could make out smaller beings flying under us, as well as scattered large animals roamed around the spaces. I used I used the names very loosely, for whatever they were, living or non-living, were very difficult for me to make out. It was indeed a massive world with its own color. You could only appreciate the scale of uniqueness and life from above. Up from here, I had a real perspective on things. After what felt like 15 minutes, we started to descend. It looked like we were heading towards the foot of the hill. The plateau was covered with red and yellow columns on its top. The protruding columns were supported by a strange mesh of net-like structure underneath it. These white net and column made it look less like a natural ecosystem but rather a massive radio tower. However, nothing looked natural here for me. As we were descending down, I could hear for the first time some kind of noise of a crowd. I could not make out what it was, however, it felt very much like a swarm of animals had gathered together somewhere. The sound was faint, but it felt like a collection of pigs or horses. I could not make out where it was coming from, however, it suddenly subsided as we reached closer to the land. We landed again at a clearance beside the foot of the hill. I wondered if this clearance were so due to this massive bird's regular flight. Delipid nudged me as he slid down the bird. Afraid of the metallic scales, I took my time to descend. Upon landing, my companion pointed to me and to the bird. The bird looked unmoved, almost like it was simply doing its duty. Delipid signaled to the bird something, and the majestic creature flew away. For some time I followed it with my eyes. I could not believe I had taken a flight on that animal. How strange! Other living beings carrying other living beings. I took stock of my situation again. I was in front of a much larger cave this time. The plants around me again were covered with the afro-shaped and the spiral overgrowth. There were smaller bugs-like objects flying around. There seemed to be more life teeming, and I could feel a sense of discomfort. "Walk beside me," Spraker relayed Telepit to me. "Are we going nice place?" I followed. Unknowingly, I was following on the same patterns Telepit was speaking. I don't know if he could really form complex words or thoughts. However, I would not want to miscommunicate with the only goodwill left for me here. "Yes, we meet home." As we entered the cave, I could feel the familiar sensation of humidity and water. You don't really understand the sensation of humidity until you have been deprived of it. The wet earth, even though of a different composition, felt very familiar. While I had water for myself, it gave me assurance to learn that there is possibility of water here. Maybe there are artisan aquifers around. I could very easily dig myself a well. Other than that, there was nothing inside the cave. The opening was big enough for only one, and me and Dilipit walked in a line to make sure both of us fit in. As we entered deeper, it got darker, and only the faint shine from Dilipit was useful for me to keep track of my bearings. A small palm on Dilipit helped me mark my path. Unlike other animals from Earth, Dilipit wasn't very warm. Even when I touched him, he would feel so much colder, almost like a morning dew. I wondered how Dilipit felt. My warm hand were it a sensation of pleasure for him, or rather he was questioning the companion he picked along the way. The walk felt very long. I feared watching my clock, afraid I might attract any strange bats or nocturnal beings from the light. The best course was probably simply to follow my companion. The seconds were turning into minutes and the minutes into hours. I was not sure how long we walked. I was starting to feel weary. Was it the adrenaline of the flight, or we had simply walked so long? I felt difficult. However, I didn't have courage to stop Dilipit and ask to rest. He could very well have been a predator who would lure his prey into dark caves and eat them. I would have been the perfect victim. Could I run? Where would I run? I might have had the opportunity to run away when I was outside. However, inside here in the darkness, I didn't have any means about myself. The fatigue was playing tricks with my thoughts. After some time, Delpit paused. I could feel him turn towards me. "Here we rest." "Okay." I simply dropped after the word. I laid right on the stop. Dilipit lifted me and put me somewhere softer. I wonder what it was. It was, however, very comfortable, almost like a bedding of wool. I dozed off in the few seconds. So yeah, that's it from my side as well.
Oh,
Uh,
nice, nice.
I hope it was interesting. Yeah, there's some more work to do with editing, but it was quite
Mm-hmm.
fascinating to write this part.
Mm-hmm.
It was very fun. I'm not going to lie. I think this
Yeah,
was the most fun I had in some times while writing. Other than the part where I
nice.
was writing about Mars and stuffs like that. So uh, it's
Mm-hmm.
getting interesting for me. I mean, irrespective of how this story turns out to be, I
Mm-hmm.
find it quite fascinating.
No, that's nice. Actually, like now that I think about it, I think I would have felt the same as our main character. So like he's exploring. He doesn't know what comes. Everything is uncertain, right? So but then I would still agree what Delipit tells to me because like I'm like really dependent on Delipit, right? So,
Exactly. Yeah.
but, but you don't know like whether Delipit is an asshole or not, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so, so yeah, yeah.
Well.
That's that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was writing this. Is I was trying to put myself in the shoes of Delipit, right? So
Mhm.
the character is really stuck in between either of those parts, right? So he has to be
Yeah,
wary if Delipit is not a predator or something that is going to feed
yeah,
on him, but he also has
yeah,
no other way because that's the only being he has been able to interact with, and so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
catch 22, and I don't know if it happens to you, but there oftentimes I make a decision that I have to get
Mm-hmm.
into somehow, and then I can pull
Mm-hmm.
myself out of it. uh,
Yeah.
so you have to
Uh,
keep going even with that uncertainty inside of you, and this felt something like that. So the character really did decided to follow Delibit, probably in the
uh,
moment of uncertainty or fear. But now he's more
mm,
calmer, he's settled down, and he's really unsure if there was a correct decision, but he cannot pull himself out because, yeah, he's way too deep about it, right? So, uh,
I mean, like, you're describing like life itself, right? Like it's uncertain, you don't know what to do, but you still move on, right? So,
yeah, yeah, it's got a bit of that. So that's it from our side. I had a bit of a small idea. I don't know.
mm,
Uh, if, I think you should give it some thought. I don't want you to
mm,
answer it right away. I
mm,
was thinking maybe we could create like a blog page, right?
mm,
Where we
mm,
put our stories, let's say chapter by chapter,
mm,
and
mm,
then we
mm,
have an opportunity to read what we have written one another, right?
mm,
Probably
mm,
suggest some edits, improvements, and so on.
mm,
And then this will also be useful for our audience who are probably wondering,
mm,
okay, yeah, if our audience want to read this, then they have to go back to the video, find the right video, right chapter, blah blah. And so
mm,
it's a difficult process, but I think we have enough material for now, and I think
mm,
it helps navigate this problem we will have once we have to share it with one another, and it would act like something people who would rather read than just listen to us, right?
mm,
So,
mm.
yeah, please give it some thought, and
Yeah.
then maybe we can consider creating like this blog post where we upload this every week, like how
Mm,
they used to do back in the days. It always blows my mind to learn that some of the classics. I'm, I don't mean
mm,
what we write is going to be a classic, but some of the classics were written this way. That it was like a weekly shonen manga kind of thing, a weekly
mm,
story,
mm,
right?
mm,
And maybe we can do
yeah,
something like this, probably keep us on track, and also,
mm,
yeah, would be a fascinating experience in itself.
yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah, that sounds actually quite good, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe, hopefully, until our next episode, we can come up with an idea. Well, something very basic, very simple, and
Mm,
then yeah, we can try to. We will have this in text so that people can check. Like I'm sure there are some people who are probably wondering, these guys are just bullshitting this without having really written anything. uh, it could
that
quite
would be
possibly be. I mean, we would be
uh,
really smart if we could do that. That would be quite a
no,
gift.
that would be awesome, man. Like if I could bullshit like that, I would be impressed by myself, you know.
uh, but it would be assurance for all the people who are probably wondering, these
Yeah.
guys are just bullshit around it. But
But I told you the origin of thrash, right? So it was
yeah,
basically bullshit. How I came up with
exactly.
thrash.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if I told the
yeah,
audience that.
yeah.
So.
So yeah, let's think about it. Let's do that. But for this week, yeah, it was quite fascinating to read chapter 4 of Thras.
Mm,
It was also quite fun for me to read parts from Departure. I haven't really
yeah.
broken it
No,
down, but it took me some
mm,
time to find the title of this,
mm,
right? This bullshit that I'm
mm.
making. But yeah,
Well,
do you want to say something before we close?
um, no, no, no. Nothing to say, but in particular.
Yeah. Then thank you very much, Anup. It was quite experience, and we see you next week again.
See ya.